Hey everybody, and welcome to A Different Door. It's a different kind of worship experience at Grace Avenue that happens every Sunday at 9:15 a.m. We are so excited to invite you into this new kind of experience where we hope the conversations that happen in this room will help you to discover your faith in a new way. But we wanted to tell you a little bit more about A Different Door and how we came up with this name and how we came up with this idea that became this worship experience. So, Carol, tell us a little bit about your experience and how A Different Door came up in your life.
Yeah, so about 6 months into my internship here at Grace Avenue, I was talking to my therapist about some of the experiences I had had with the congregation. And one thing that I had learned is that many people have an extremely complicated relationship with church. And I was telling him how I was really surprised that people even came in the doors to begin with. And as I was talking to him and going through some things that I felt like God was calling me to do, I said, I feel like God might be calling me to bring people into church through a different door. And my therapist said, a different door, kind of like that one. And he pointed behind me and I turned around and looked, and there was a picture on his wall of a door that was slightly cracked open. And I said, why do you have that picture? He said, I don't know, maybe for you. And in that moment, I just felt an extreme sense of affirmation that my call has something to do with bringing people into church through a different door. And I hope that that's an experience that you all can have through this service.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there are people who have been hurt by church who, when they come into our doors, we're always like, man, how did you find us? And typically they have come through a different kind of door. Laura, you had a similar experience where you were hurt by church, disillusioned by church, and you walked away. Will you tell everyone how you came back through a different door?
Sure. So yeah, I was working for the church for a long time as a music director, and things happened where I felt really disillusioned and hurt and felt harm from the church. I started to wonder, why church? I left the church and I was away for about a year and a half, trying to understand my faith, trying to understand who God is. And it was a long year and a half of a lot of struggle. But I finally walked into the doors of a college ministry at UNT called the Wesley, and the students there helped me reconstruct my faith so that I really knew who God was, that it was God, not the church. The church I had become disillusioned with, but God was still there walking with me every step. I am so, so glad that I walked through that door so I can stand here now. Christopher?
Yeah, what a powerful experience of coming to know God, not through the traditional door, right, of coming through the doors of a church, but coming through a different door, a college ministry, in a place that maybe you didn't expect to encounter God in that way at all. What a powerful experience. On the same day that Carol was talking to her therapist, I was in my office getting ready for a lunch meeting. And so I had some very specific things that I needed to do that day and very limited time in which to do them because I had to get all the way across town. But we were putting this thing up in the church narthex called a gratitude tree. And we had everybody the day before put all of the things they were grateful for about them, and we were going to put them up. And I kept getting this like nagging in the back of my head that was like, go put the leaves up. I kept saying, no, I don't have time for that. I need to get these things done so that I can get out of here and get over to my lunch meeting. Well, finally, I just listened to the little nagging voice, and I went and I grabbed my stapler and I was like, I'm going to put up like 4 leaves, and then I'm going to leave because I'm running out of time. And as I was putting the leaves up in the narthex, in a place where nobody ever is, a young man came up and tried to open the door. But those doors are typically locked. And he looked lost and confused, and I thought, okay, well, he's just going to turn around and he's going to find our church secretary, Misty, and he's going to be okay. But he looked so sad and so morose, and he turned and he started walking back towards his car. And I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'll just point him in the right direction. But I opened the door and I said, hey, do you need something? And he said, I'm just looking for a pastor to talk to. And I said, okay, well, come this way. And what I had meant to say was, let me show you to Misty so that she can bring you to another one of our pastors. Because I was like, I don't have time for this. Well, I got that young man into my office, and come to find out he had just gotten out of rehab. And in the midst of getting out of rehab, he had had this powerful experience with God where he experienced God in a profound way, and he knew he needed to do something different with his life. And so he was looking for some people to walk with him along the way. And he found Grace Avenue, our church, because his family had gone there, and he knew that this was a safe space. And so he came to tell me about his life and his story, and we prayed together, and then I walked him back out through the different door. And not only did he find church and find God again after many, many, many years, but he found it through a different door, and he found it through a locked door. So often there are people who come and they're going to find a different door. Maybe they find that it is locked or it wasn't what they expected, but the hope and goal is that as they come through a different door, they encounter God. Carol experienced that in her call story. Laura experienced that in the way in which she rediscovered God in a place she never thought she would find God in the way that she did. And I know that all of us, our hope with this podcast, with this service, is that there are people in the world who have been hurt, who have been disillusioned, who are maybe just asking questions about God and about church that when they asked questions before, they were told, no, you can't ask those, that are going to come through this different door. They're going to find a place where they can have conversation, have their questions answered, and encounter God in a new way. So we hope that a different door blesses you. We hope this new ministry blesses you, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.